Hey everyone, so I watched the minimalism documentary on Netflix for the extra credit opportunity for the class, and I have always really enjoyed like a minimalistic lifestyle and like a simplistic lifestyle. And sorry, there are a lot of chickens around me right now, so if you hear a rooster, that's why. But I thought it would give you a laugh. That there's a lot of chickens around me. But anyways, yeah, so I really enjoy like the minimalistic lifestyle, living very simply without a lot of stuff. And so I thought that this documentary would be something I'd really be interested in, and so I watched it and I loved it. It was great. It really does, like, you just saw like the people's lives and like how like they had like these health issues that like in a family who doesn't have a lot of resources that is like struggling, like just adding like a health issue on top is like can be really harmful to their family, because it's like that's just more money, more like time that you need to give to that person because they have health issues. And like they saw like for the one lady, for example, like who had MS, like she just realized that she was like really stressed, and like whenever she like decluttered her life with like all this stuff, then she when she decluttered, like all of a sudden like her health issues like almost like went away. Like she has the disease, but like she didn't really have any symptoms anymore because she was so decluttered. And I think like one of the resources that we talk about the most that's like key is like time. And if we're like consuming so much like on our phones or like on our like just like so hyper fixated on like getting the newest thing, getting the newest phone, getting the newest clothes, the best clothes, the amount of clothes that you need, like that takes time, and that takes time away from our relationships and other people in our lives and our families, community, which is like what helps a family thrive is community and like building connection. And that just gets taken and slipped away when we're so fixated on like what we consume and what we have. And even like I know that like finances and like having a good stable income is really beneficial and is a resource, but like I would even argue, and I think like the minimalistics or the people like Ryan and Joshua would argue this too, that like you can make 6 figures, and they actually talked about this in video, like how like people would like that one guy like made 6 figures and then he got a promotion. He's like, I don't want to live this way. But like even like the guy like, or I think like they would argue that making that much money almost could like, yes, it's a resource in a way, but at the same time it like can like kind of not be like contradict like the resource in itself, because it's like you're so hyper fixated on being a workaholic that you don't actually like put effort in and like commitment and dedication into your relationships and the people in your life, because you're just so fixated on like getting that money, getting that income flow, and then also like consuming stuff because of the income flow that you have, which is just a really unhealthy relationship with things. And like the last thing he said was like love people and use things, and like if it is twisted and if it is the opposite, then like our lives are just gonna be so unhappy. Our lives are gonna be so unhappy. We're not gonna be like flourishing in a way. We're just gonna keep going down this trail of like not yeah, we're gonna go down this trail of just like keep being unsatisfied and like thinking that getting more will satisfy us, which is just not true. Like the more we consume, the more unsatisfied we are, and we're gonna realize that until like we're just gonna keep realizing that. And I think like the big quote that they had in the beginning, that I think it was Jim Carrey said, where he was like, I wish some people, like everyone, become rich to see like how it's actually not like the best thing in the world. That's not the exact quote, but like that's a summary of it, and like how unsatisfying it actually is. And I think that's so true. And like even just like when I realized like in my own life, like I've been consuming a lot, and I can like reflect on my state in life then and be like, I'm actually just like more and more unsatisfied, and like I just want more and more and more, but then I get more and more like not happy. And like the more I live into like a simplistic lifestyle, I am like very happy, because I am able to invest in other people and relationships, And I also just like loved how like Joshua and Ryan could like really only give to people, like give themselves to people and like their knowledge of like their experiences. Like they didn't have like stuff or things to give people, but rather just like themselves and like their wisdom and their experience and like their best advice to help make other people better. So yeah, in the realm of family resource management, I think this would be like very beneficial if like people live this lifestyle, because like in families, like they can just like constantly consume stuff that's really unnecessary for their family and get so like caught up in that they lose track of like the actual point of like fostering connection, cultivating like a home, and it like takes away like this like what we think of like stuff that we're taking can bring in like what we think is resources, but actually it just like contradicts itself and becomes like not a resource in the end. But yeah, I really enjoyed this film and I'm gonna be thinking about it for a while, and it's definitely something that I think our world needs to use. And I also think the last, I don't know who was it, but he looks like he's like in the president's office or something, but he gave a really compelling like little like spiel on consumerism. I think that our world needs to hear and our society needs to take in. But yes, this was a great extra credit thing. I loved it, and I love this class. So yeah, okay, bye.